This video is brought to you by Mobi City, your mobile destination. And these are the hottest smartphones in the market right now. The Nexus 5, which is made for what matters the most, and the Galaxy Note 3, which is meant to design your life. Both are Android smartphones, but offers different in a lot of ways. So how do these two giants compared? Let's find out. I'm Jens Garcia from Tech for Geeks, and this is a comparison between the Google Nexus 5 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. I've got to say that the biggest differences between the two are the pricing. The Nexus 5 retails for $349 for the 16GB model and $399 for the 32GB model. The Galaxy Note 3 retails around $649 to $800 for the 32GB model, and yeah, that really depends to your country's pricing, but you can get a 64GB model as well, but that means you'll have to pay a little more. The Nexus 5 is cheaper, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be reliable. Inside is a quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor, Adreno 330 GPU, and 2GB of RAM. Putting it next to the Note 3, it is basically packing the same internals except you get an extra 1GB of RAM on the Note 3. But does that really matter? Well, not for now really. I will let you know when we get to the software part. Both devices are built with different approach to the users. The Nexus 5 is a lot more simplistic than its previous predecessor, and I guess it's a follow-up design to the Nexus 7 tablet. The Note 3, on the other hand, is meant to look and feel like a premium device, but Samsung didn't justify that. The back on the Note 3 uses fake leather, and the chrome around the device is also fake and just an imitation of chrome. The Nexus 5 feels a lot better compared to the Note 3, hence the smaller display, and man, it's just so light because of its slim design and polycarbonate plastic back. And the Note 3 is definitely not a single-handed device due to its larger display, so that's going to be a problem to some of you. But the good thing about having a Note 3 is the removable battery. While the Nexus 5 doesn't feature removable battery, so whether you love it or not, then you're going to be stuck with a 2300 mAh battery. The Note 3 boasts a bigger 3200 mAh battery, and as I've said, it's removable. And in addition to that, you can also expand the storage for up to 64GB for even bigger storage. Both displays are boasting the same resolution at Full HD 1080p, but with different type of displays. The Nexus 5 uses a 5-inch IPS HD display compared to the 5.7-inch Super AMOLED HD display on the Note 3. To be honest, it's all personal preferences really. Although I find the colors on the Note 3 better, with deeper black levels compared to the Nexus 5. The colors on the display of the Nexus 5 are slightly washed out, therefore some colors may look a little lighter compared to AMOLED display, especially at setting the brightness at the maximum brightness. The display isn't bad after all, but it could be improved. Both Nexus 5 and Note 3 does take some amazing shots, but the Note 3 has a higher 13MP sensor compared to the 8MP sensor on the Nexus 5. Now, the problem with the Note 3 is whenever you are taking shots at 13MP, it crops the image to 4:3 aspect ratios instead of 16:9. There's also no optical image stabilization on the Note 3, but instead Samsung added smart stabilization, though it only works in photo mode. The details on every photo I took are amazing. The clarity and sharpness when taking outdoor photos are superb, same with its low light performance, and overall I was really pleased by it. The Nexus 5 does take some great shots as well, even though it has a lower resolution, cropping at 100% will still be sharp and detailed. Now, the main problem I found was the exposure. Sometimes the photos does look a little overexposed in a sunny day, so I will sometimes have to change the settings manually. But the good thing about it is the photos look very natural. It doesn't look oversaturated nor undersaturated. It also features OIS, which means if you have shaky hands, then it wouldn't really affect the video because of it, and you'll still be able to get smooth video recordings. And trust me, once you use OIS, then you'll always look for it on a smartphone. Onto the software side of both phones. Now, the camera software on the Nexus 5 is just terrible. The control buttons is a pain to use, and the autofocus is just way too slow for me, and sometimes it will have trouble focusing to the subject. But on the plus side, this is the first phone to feature HDR+, and I've got to say that it's very effective. The dynamic range is superb, and using this during sunset or at nighttime will give you some amazing shots. The Note 3 offers varieties of modes such as drama shot, animated photo, sports mode, and a bunch more. It also has a faster autofocus, and all the controls are nicely laid out. Without a doubt, the Note 3 wins the spec wars, and the reason why is because of the heavily designed TouchWiz. Yes, the one and only TouchWiz. Whether you love it or not, it's there. Well, putting it side by side to the Nexus 5 will make you think that this doesn't even look like stock Android itself. And yes, that's correct. It's so heavily customized that it nearly looks like it's running Samsung's own operating system. The Nexus 5, as I've said, is running stock Android, giving you a pure Google experience. It's so easy to use to the fact that an iOS user shouldn't have any problem using the phone. Both devices are very snappy and smooth thanks to the Snapdragon 800 processor, and of course there's that tiny lag on the Note 3 because of the launcher. The Note 3 packs with so many features that it's almost too much for some consumers. But despite the amount of features, it has some neat features as well, including the Air command to complement the S Pen. Then you also have multi-window, which lets you use two applications at once. That's what really makes this a Note device. Then there's the Nexus 5 that has the pure Google experience. No fragmentation and no need to wait for a long time to get the firmware updates. Android 4.4 is so light to the point where everything just flies on the device. Its powerful specs really take advantage of the latest operating system. Loading and switching to different applications is fast with no stutters and delays. And Google Now can also be activated through your home screen, which is quite similar to the Moto X, but it doesn't offer the same usage. Simply say "OK Google" and it will launch Google Voice Search for you. Using the Nexus 5 was a great user experience. I felt so close to the Google services because everything is integrated to the phone, which is a good thing, but the downside of having stock Android is that it will not give you the same multitasking experience on the Note 3. One of the most important features when buying a phone is the battery life. The Galaxy Note 3 definitely wins this round. Having a large 3200 mAh battery is so important. I mean, it can last for me for up to 2.5 days on a mild usage and 1 day on a medium usage. The Nexus 5 is, well, quite disappointing. The 2300 mAh battery is just enough to last for up to 10 hours on a medium usage and 16 hours on a light usage, and on a busy day, well, 8 hours was the maximum that I was able to get. Both devices are great, they both have their pros and cons, so at the end of the day, it really is a personal preference. If you want a budget smartphone that has a lot of kick and a sucker for stock Android, then definitely go with the Nexus 5, but if you want a smartphone that delivers a great multitasking experience, great camera, great battery life, and large display, then definitely go with the Note 3. So which one do I like more? Well, I have to say that I would have to give it to the Note 3. This is still the powerhouse of all the smartphones right now, and in my opinion, the Nexus 5, to be honest, I love it. In fact, this is my daily device right now and I am really loving it. But for the sake of this comparison, then as I've said, I will have to give it to the Galaxy Note 3. Now, your thoughts might be different and that's really important because I'm definitely interested to know what your thoughts are about these two devices. So definitely let us know in the comments below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then definitely make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out any of our future videos. You can also follow us on your favorite social media networks. And as always, I'm Jens Garcia from Tech for Geeks and I'll see you all in the next one.